The Flames go west and about give their fan base a heart attack. We break down the game and sit down with the hero, Quinton Cooley.
Plus, women's soccer makes history, Liberty Hoops releases its schedule, and we relive one of the great teams in Flames history. It all starts now on this Flames Central.
Never apologize for a win. That's what we say here at Flames Central. Welcome in. Great to have you along. She's Emily Austin. I'm Matt Warner, and I think you're going to like this week's show.
Yeah, if you like exciting football, interesting interviews, and history being made, then yes, you will enjoy today's show. And we begin it out west in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Yeah, it was a game that wouldn't end until 2 a.m. East Coast time, and diehard Flames fans, like Emily, are still trying to recover from the loss of sleep. Speaking of sleep, it was the Flames defense that looked a little drowsy early in this ball game. A 64-yard touchdown catch and run from Monte Watkins had the Aggies out in front, 10-0. The stadium rocking in the land of enchantment as New Mexico State started fast. In the second quarter, the Aggies would find the end zone again, while Liberty's offense had to settle for 3 first-half field goals. That would make it a 17-9 New Mexico State lead at the break. Same score in the fourth quarter when the Liberty defense made one of the biggest plays of the night. A Quentin Reese blitz forced the fumble, C.J. Bazell scoop and score, and that would make it a 17-15 ball game. But hold on, the Aggies weren't done yet. They would answer with a short TD run, pushing this one back to a 2-possession game late. But that's when Liberty would start to lean on their superstar running back. Quinton Cooley getting free, a 27-yard touchdown run, made it 24-22, and then after a huge defensive stand, Liberty got the ball back with just over a minute remaining, and crunch time was Cooley time. He gets loose again, this time taking it in from 44 yards out to put Liberty in front for the first time all night. The defense would provide one last stop, and the Flames survive in Las Cruces, 30-24 the final. Cooley runs for 111 yards on only 12 carries, and somehow, some way, Liberty moves to 2-0 on the season.
Nothing seemed to be going your way, right? I thought, obviously, the first half was just atrocious, and then had opportunities to get some points on the board and touchdowns, and we just have to settle either for field goals, and defensively we started out bad, right? But once I thought our defense really picked it up there late second quarter, third, and played really well. Offensively, it took us a while, but the whole strike to stone is a mentality that we talk about all the time in our program. And I told them in the fourth quarter, I said, hey, this is it. What we say, this is going to show up. The character that we have is going to need to show up. And boy, it did.
I think we can all agree that one was a little too close for comfort, but thankfully the Flames have number 20 on their roster. Quinton Cooley had a standout season in 2023, a casual 1,400 yards, 16 touchdowns. So it would be totally reasonable to question, could he do it again? No, I didn't ask him that when we sat down earlier this week, but our conversation is plenty interesting. Liberty trailed the entire game, but when the Flames needed a hero late, the bowling ball strikes again. Quinton Cooley with an incredible finish, leading the Flames to victory over New Mexico State on the road. Quinn, what was it about you guys coming together in this game and able to pull off this win?
It was just the team sticking with each other. Like, if you got the defense playing that type of game and keeping us in the game, like, the offense, we need to step up. It's a certain way where we need to step up the way. Like, the defense played amazing for us. They held them to 17 points until the fourth quarter. They scored 1 touchdown. And if you got a defense that can do that, you can just really look at the saying, like, defense win championships, and defense really won that game for us.
For you personally, I think you had 3 carries for 10 yards in the first half. As a running back, how do you keep your mindset positive when things aren't going your way and really maintain that patience?
Really not just as a running back now. For me, it's just more being a captain. Honestly, being there for my teammates in certain ways, not making it all about yourself. You got to be there for your teammates. I carry a lot of stuff on my shoulders now because my teammates see me as a leader, and I don't want them to see me down regardless. And also just being positive with the yards we get. If we get 3 to 4 yards, we just going to have to go with that. If that's what we're going to get tonight, we just going to have to be positive with that. So just being that and just being the captain for my team, just seeing others like to look up to me so we can have a positive game.
It's been really, really cool to see. All right, we're going to do things a little bit different. We're going to break down a couple plays.
2nd down and 3 at the Aggie 27-yard line. Liberty down by 9, 5:22 left.
Okay, so right now you got Salton and Bentley in motion. So what Bentley's going to do, he's going to come down, block this edge. And you got Jay White, he's going to crash, and he's going to have to stay. They're going to might double team up to the linebacker. So when that happening, all that happens, whole bus is wide open. So staying tight to this instead of staying tight to this because you don't want this defender to come over to make the tackle. So what I did after that, boom, make 2 people miss. And then you have Reese giving an extra effort right here to block, cut off his block, and just finish the run.
Salter gets a handoff, hands off Cooley, up the middle, big hole, breaks free, 10, 5, light him up, touchdown, Liberty!
If you see me in the end zone, I didn't celebrate. I pushed my hands down.
I saw that.
That's to stay calm and just be like, okay, we still in this game, like we got it.
All right, fast forward, 1:12 to play. You guys are trailing by 2. You guys are on the New Mexico State 44-yard line, 2nd and 2. Walk me through that one.
Right here, you got this one walked up, and then you have another safety out here. You can't see him right now because he's out of the box. He's acting wide. And then you also have the linebacker walked up right here. So you see, it's really nobody home right here at all. So this same thing, Bentley come in motion to block the end. You got Jay White, the double team. He's gonna lock that on, and Jay White's gonna watch this down. Boom, nobody's home, hole's wide open.
How
it's just
quickly
me.
do you realize that?
Yeah, sometimes you can realize that because you can see it wide open, and plus you have reads. My read is all the way out here. Since he's walked down, this is my read.
Okay.
He's all the way out here. And watch how he shuffles outside. That's telling me. Right there.
No one's home.
Right, no one's home. And after that, just finish the run. It's always a great saying. Good backs always see the first person, and you always worry about the second. So I see the first. That's the first. That's the second. And they just make a move. And there we go.
Gives it to Cooley. Cooley right up the gut. Cooley's loose. Cooley's going to take it to the house. And the Flames take their first lead of the game.
And at this point, you're celebrating in the end zone in this one. You're not staying calm.
Real celebrating, yeah. I'm just hyped. You got Salt, everybody hyped. Just looking to finish the run. I had to let them know.
Through the first 2 weeks, New Mexico State and Liberty has been the only Conference USA matchup of the season. So it can be difficult to see how CUSA has improved or not. That's why we have insiders like the Athletics' Chris Vanini to share his expert opinion on how Conference USA stacks up so far this season.
You know, it's been a really weird 2 weeks for everybody in the country, really. It's hard to figure out who's legit, who's not. Some teams that we thought would be good are maybe not playing so good. If I'm Sam Houston, I'm not too concerned about that final score. I think the opening win against Rice was a very impressive start. And as you get to play teams that are kind of more at your level, those are the games you'll ultimately be judged by. I think Western Kentucky, at least through 2 weeks, is probably on schedule for what we would have expected from them. I think TJ Finley, the quarterback, has made some good plays. I'm really interested in FIU against FAU. This is a rivalry game, the Shula Bowl. Try to get above 500 as you start to kind of move into conference plays.
If you want to hear more from our conversation, you have to tune in to Flame Central Game Day. The pregame show starts an hour before kickoff, and the postgame show airs immediately following the game. There's expert analysis, exclusive interviews, live updates, and more. You can watch it on the Liberty Flames social media channels like Facebook and YouTube.
Trust me, you do not want to miss Flame Central Game Day. All right, well, this weekend, Liberty is celebrating homecoming, a special time to enjoy and remember the history of the university. But that's also something we're going to do with a new segment we call Flames Flashbacks. This week, we look back 10 years to the 2014 football team and a finish to their season that Flames fans will never forget.
This could be the defining moment.
November 22nd, 2014. Liberty at #1 and undefeated Coastal Carolina with the conference championship on the line. Kicker Alex Catron faced a 24-yard field goal attempt that would not only win the game, but also crush Liberty's postseason hopes.
Here we go. 24-yard field goal at the 14-yard line. Oh! It's blocked! Liberty is going to win! Liberty, champions of the Big South!
Flames football reached the playoffs for the first time in its history. Their first-round opponent, in-state rival James Madison.
Number 6, you're going to call the toss, sir.
This would be a game of momentum shifts.
Inside the 10, 5, touchdown Liberty Flames.
Each team seeming to take control at different points.
Inside the 10, 5, touchdown JMU.
It would all come down to the fourth quarter. The Flames trailing by 1 on their own 15-yard line with 13:54 left in the game. And they would flirt with disaster.
Here comes a blitz off the corner. Ball is stripped, still rolling, and picked up by Woodrum and takes it all the way back.
That near calamity would be the first play of a season-defining drive that diehard Flames fans will never forget.
Right down the seam, wide open. First down. 14th play of the drive coming up. No blitz. The pass is caught. A juggling catch made by Peterson, and he's got the first down at the 4.
17 plays and 11 minutes later, the Flames were knocking on the door of the end zone.
2nd and goal. To the fullback. Second effort.
But would they score?
No signal yet. Ball's loose. We're waiting. Touchdown.
Liberty led, but the game wasn't over just yet. JMU would have one final chance.
Lee back to pass. Over the middle. Inside the 5. Broken up. Incomplete.
This Kenny Scott pass breakup would seal the thrilling come-from-behind victory and seal Liberty football's first ever postseason win.
We step aside, but coming up, a first for Liberty women's soccer, and we'll hear from one of their stars.
Plus, Rhett McGibbon names his athletes of the week. It's warm, hot, and fuego when Flame Central returns.
So you're looking for a university that has anything you could possibly need.
Anything?
You want a place that has the programs you want to study.
I think I'm going to sign up for the fashion design program.
All right. A place with state-of-the-art facilities.
And who doesn't love big-time sports?
Somewhere you can hike, slide, climb, and most importantly, eat. And all that with a great view? Yeah, I think I know a place.
So our daughter Bella did LUOA and she absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and all our kids, it was a little bit different how they did school because when they were in school, Duck Dynasty was going on.
For Bella, it worked out for us to just kind of go all the way homeschool, which that flexibility of being able to do school online and travel with us when she wanted to travel was just a really great blessing. And that's a great thing that LUOA offers is you can kind of move at your own pace, move faster if you need to.
So yeah, that certainly matched up for her.
Flexibility was
for sure
a key. So to be able to have LUOA to like guide her and have actual real life teachers and a whole framework set up was really, really helpful. I would say doing the online academy really prepared Bella for college. It actually, it's a lot of hard work, but the teachers are so great at helping you through it, helping you kind of through that learning curve. And I definitely feel like it really prepared her for what was to come for a college career.
welcome back to the show. I realize that right now football has most of the focus for us, and for good reason, but I'd like to remind you that basketball season is only a month and a half away, and this week, the Liberty men released their non-conference schedule. The season will begin on November 4th with the neutral site game in Ohio at the Total Athlete Tip-Off against Valparaiso. Other notable games, how about squaring off with FAU and Charleston for a second straight year in the Field of 68 Media Network Tip-Off? And the Flames will also head to the Virgin Islands in November for the Paradise Jam. Tough life. They'll open that event with Louisiana. Oh, by the way, you notice the uniforms in this graphic? That's right, Flames with some sweet new Navy uniforms for the upcoming season.
All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves, Matt Warner, because there's a team playing right now that's making history. Women's soccer recorded its first ever win over a ranked opponent, beating number 21 Virginia Tech on the road, and then played to a 1-1 draw at West Virginia 2 days later. As a result, the Lady Flames received their first ever national ranking, checking in at number 24. So what better time to invite leading scorer Hallie Engel on the Flames Central podcast, powered by Alcova Mortgage, to ask her about the hot start to the season.
Getting the win over Virginia Tech, checking that box, beating a ranked opponent. Does that take the confidence to another level, just in the fact that now you've believed it, but you've actually done it?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps our confidence. Like they were ranked last week, number 21, so like that shows us that we can compete with the top 25 teams. And I always go back to the word like gritty. Like we're just like, we work so hard, like everybody's pushing everyone and keeping each other accountable, and we have so much confidence, like, and we get a lot of it from Coach Lang. He does like a great job just like rooting that confidence in us, and then we are really accountable with one another, like making sure we're all on the same page, like we can compete with anybody.
I'm not trying to brag, but word on the street is this might have been the best Flame Central podcast episode of all time. Matt, you know I'm not a dramatic person.
Okay.
That's just what the people are saying. Be sure to check it out on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen, or watch it on the Liberty Flames YouTube channel. It's the Flame Central podcast, powered by Alcova Mortgage. We drop a new episode each and every week.
Well, during our interview with Hallie, she referenced head coach Lang Wedemeyer and his influence numerous times. But how does his faith impact the way he leads his program? We found out in our latest installment of Follow the Leader.
You know, I think it was Billy Graham who said, you know, a coach can influence more people in a year than most people do in a lifetime. And so I've really taken that to heart. Like, I have a greater purpose in this way. Well, my father especially was an every Sunday churchgoer, and he's really the one that got us to church, put us in Sunday school. I had a rudimentary understanding of who Christ was, and I would try to be a good person. I would listen to the stories in church and say my prayers, but a lot of it was very egocentric. You know, please God, grant me this wish, sometimes treating him as a genie in a bottle. As a young coach, my thought process was, I'm going to go somewhere and I'm going to win, and I'm going to build my resume up, and I'm going to get one better job after another. But probably another transformative moment was when I had my first child. And that's where God kind of said, hey, there's some different priorities now in your life. And in being a father for the first time, it also opened my eyes how I had a responsibility that was given to me by the Holy Spirit to be a father figure to the players that I was coaching. We want to be positive and encouraging with our athletes. We want to build them up. We also have high standards, and we want to make sure that our players live up to those standards. And when they don't, it's our job as iron sharpens iron to help them understand how to live up and grow into the young women that Christ calls them to be. I feed off the energy from my players, which is great. So I really look forward to practice. Other than being with my family, being with the team is the greatest part of my day, and it's something I look forward to.
Loving that new Follow the Leader series. All right, to field hockey, it's a tough test for the Lady Flames home opener, number 3 Virginia. Second quarter, the Cavaliers strike first as Susie Lehmans gets the rebound and finish, and the Lady Flames will respond, but it wouldn't be until the fourth quarter. Josephina Tomasi with the backhanded shot to the corner of the goal. We are all tied up at 1 until about 7 minutes later. The penalty corner is executed to perfection for UVA, and the Lady Flames go on to fall for the first time this season. Final score 2-1.
Oh, the Lady Flames going to be all right.
Oh,
they'll bounce
totally
back.
Fine.
Hey, Rhett McGibbons here. Top player moment from the past week in Liberty Athletics. We call it Warm, Hot, and Fuego. Rhett, you usually come up with an interesting theme, maybe a day of the week or like a day of the year, whatever. You come up with odd things. What do you have this week?
Sometimes I sit on my back porch and I like drink coffee and I just sit there and think about it. But this time
it
hit me like 10 minutes before the show.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just kind of had this thought. I was like, cleaning products. This is going to fit really well. Just stick with me.
Yes, all right. Let's start off with warm. What do you got?
It's Madison Blaine on the volleyball team, okay? Blocking here, CUSA Defender of the Week. She is like Scotch Card, the stain shield. Just blocking everything out.
Yeah, I got it.
You're not going to get any water in there, no stains and anything like that. She is just shutting it down.
Yeah.
You with me?
I'm with you. Is this a sponsored segment, Rhett? Or
No.
Okay, you're not getting any kickback from these products?
No,
okay,
no NIL deals
for
me.
Good.
Yeah. Unless it's buffets. All right. So Maddie Blaine, 4th career CUSA Defender of the Week honor. 8 blocks versus Navy and a 3-0 sweep for the Flames. 7 Friday versus Cornell. Then Saturday, 5 blocks versus UC San Diego. That team was undefeated at the time. Liberty beats them, and she had a 909 hitting percentage. So Maddie Blaine, when you look at a team, again, a lot of turnover in volleyball. She comes in as that staple middle blocker that you need, and it's great to have a veteran there, and she has just proved her worth this season. It's been great.
Yeah, women's volleyball on the road a ton. Good to have them coming home finally this weekend.
They're 3-3, which I think is impressive for how young that team is and kind of just the turnover that happened. I think they've done extremely well.
All right, we go now from warm to hot. Who's hot?
All right, it's a moment. It's the moment when Quinton Reese and that forced fumble. And it reminded me of my... rest his soul. Billy Mays. Kaboom, baby.
Yeah.
Bringing out the kaboom with that hit, just rolling down the pipe.
What a legend.
And forces the fumble. Bazell Jr. goes on to score the touchdown. I'm going to, big statement here. You ready, Matt?
Yeah.
Big statement. That play alone could have saved an opportunity to go to CFP.
Wow. Turning point.
It really was. The momentum started to shift after that play. The Flames offense got going. The defense after that had a couple of, I know the touchdown still came in, but they had a couple big stands to end the game. When you look down the line,
remember that one.
Remember that play, because if you don't have that play and they lose that game, I don't think you're talking CFP at all.
Absolutely. You may not be talking Conference USA Championship.
That's very true.
Right? All right, finally in Fuego this week. Who's in Fuego?
Holly Engel, okay? She's
Hallie,
yeah. Tide pen. She is just erasing the hopes and dreams of defenders out there as it currently stands. 2 goals, all right, versus Virginia Tech.
Now, remind me, she was your breakout candidate.
She was.
Wasn't she about a month ago?
Thank you for saying that, I was driving down the road the other day. I was like, I did pretty well on that one. Yeah, I felt pretty good about myself. But yeah, 2 goals in that. She is one of 22 players in the nation this year to have 3 game-winning goals. Wow. So she has really broken out this year, and it's just, riding the wave while it's hot. Sometimes the goals start going in, and hopefully you hope it's not just for a spurt. It hasn't been that way for her so far this season. She has just been consistently a dynamic attacker so far this year.
She hasn't. What an awesome season it's been for those ladies thus far. Right? Great job as always. We appreciate it. Hey, still to come, what do the Flames fantasy standings look like after week 2? Did Emily's team show signs of life? Find out when Flames Central returns.
Welcome to Liberty University's online programs, where living out your calling with integrity is what you train to do. And getting ready for the future doesn't mean missing out on the now. Because a university is more than buildings and books. And an education should set you free, not fence you in. Welcome to Liberty's global campus, where distance learning was pioneered and evolved into one of the top-ranked schools in the nation. Where protecting your budget, your time, and your education isn't just a theory, it's our priority. Here, degrees in your field reflect industry demands and help you get ahead of the competition. Where college comes to you, but you can come to college too. Game day, homecoming, graduation day. Your school, your values, your experience, your choice. Welcome to Liberty University, where we train champions for Christ.
Does education mean a room with 4 walls, a desk, and a PowerPoint lecture?
Or is it something bigger?
What if it's the people beside you, 1 chair away or 1 ocean away?
What if it's the chance to learn from your mistakes, as well as your victories?
And the push to keep going either way.
What if it's the freedom to reach for bigger things without missing the little ones in between?
For each of us, education looks a bit different.
Because we're each a bit different.
But at Liberty, we think education might just mean something big enough for all of us.
That's liberty to us.
What will liberty be to you?
Tucked away in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Lynchburg, Virginia, you'll find us, Liberty University. Here, we pursue excellence in all of our academic endeavors, from anywhere. We fight for victory in our athletic programs and fan the flames with a mighty roar. We equip students with a Christ-centered perspective that changes lives. We are creators, problem solvers, and world changers. But above all of this, we are champions for Christ.
The Liberty University Chevrolet was awesome. Here comes a big push to the 24 and the inside lane.
And William Byron comes off turn 4 to win.
Welcome back to the show. If you've stuck around this long, it's most likely for one reason and one reason only. You want to know the Flames fantasy standings.
You know, in years past, Emily loved this part of the show, but it's funny, so far this season, she keeps asking, can we cut it out? Why is that? Well, I think the scoreboard is about to tell us why. Take a look. After a tough week 1 for Emily, what would week 2 hold? Not much better. 18 points for Emily in week 2. Joe Yock, by the way, starting to run away with things a little bit. Quinton Cooley,
will never give him the first
Cooley's
pick
been
ever
the gift
again.
that keeps on giving. Treon Sibley's been keeping me hanging around, but still a long way to go, Emily. No need
It's
to
a
panic.
long season.
Don't need to
Juju
panic.
is hurt.
Yeah, right,
I'll get
right.
things figured out like I have the past 2 years. Hey, the Flame Central podcast is where we kind of go at each other about the Flames fantasy standings. Check it out every Monday.
Or libertyflamecentral.com for any stories that you might have missed. For Emily, I'm Matt. Thanks so much for watching. We'll plan on seeing you right back here next week.